Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Mike Elsey Fishing. I really appreciate you taking out some time to check out this channel. And after seeing this video, if you like it, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button, and especially hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. So today I want to talk a little bit about thinking outside the box for the summertime dog days of summer fishing. I don't know about you, but here in the Midwest, the temperatures have been just crazy hot lately. I mean, it's been in the 90s. Next week is supposed to be in the upper 90s. I mean, even pushing 100 degrees, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday. It's crazy hot. And it's only mid-June, mid to late June, and it's already this hot. And it just has got me thinking to, what's it going to be like in July and August? And during that time of year, I mean, that's typically what we know as the dog days of summer, right? Fish, for the most part, are either super shallow, or they're out offshore. They're deep. They're on ledges and shell beds and offshore humps and things like that. Also, those fish have been very highly pressured by now. There's been tournaments going on for several weeks, months now. It's also summertime, so school's out. You've got pleasure boaters out there running around like crazy, and so those fish, they feel the pressure, right? They've also seen every bait known to man, it seems like. All those fish out there on those ledges of Guntersville and Kentucky Lake and Pickwick and all those lakes up and down the Tennessee River system. They've seen every deep diving crankbait known to man. They've seen every 10-inch worm made, or shaky head, or football head jig, you name it. So, those fish are getting educated, which means they're getting a lot harder to catch. But they are still catchable. And sometimes, as I say, you kind of have to think outside the box a little bit. Most people would probably consider, just downsizing to be that, and that certainly is true. I'm going to talk a little bit about a bait here and a technique that I don't know if a whole lot of people really give it that much thought when it comes to ledge fishing or fishing a drop, and that is a Tokyo rig. Yeah, a Tokyo rig. It's been around a while. If you're not real familiar with it, a Tokyo rig looks just like this. You have a swivel at the top, and this end is where you tie your line to, and on the bottom end you have a hook and then a wire that's usually bent at the end that's got a sinker on it of some sort. So essentially it's like a miniature drop shot rig, where the bait is just a couple 2 or 3 inches up off the bottom. But it's a really cool rig, and it's very versatile. A lot of times people will use this bed fishing in the spring. It's a deadly bed fishing bait, by the way. You can use, you put a creature bait on there, and you can just kind of drag it along, or a swim bait. You can drag it along the bottom, fishing shell beds or a rocky shoreline of some sort. It's even used for punching through the real thick stuff, because this falls straight down when you do that. Now, this weight that I have on this one is just used so I can show you what the rig looks like, okay? So for a ledge fishing or offshore hump fishing application, imagine this weight being, a ½ ounce or even a 3/4 ounce, maybe even like with a bead on the bottom of it to help give it some sound. They even make weights, football head shaped weights that you can put on the bottom of this as well to help keep you from getting hung up in rocks and so forth. But that's the Tokyo rig. That's the setup anyway. And the bait that I like to use is right here. It's the Z-Man Big TRD. That's a copper truce color. This is just standard green pumpkin. They make all kinds of colors, of course. But the Z-Man Big TRD is a fish catching machine, let me tell you. And I imagine most of you are probably use it on a Ned rig, a Ned head, which is a great way to catch fish as well, great way to downsize and give those offshore fish something else to look at. But I will simply Texas rig this Z-Man TRD I just run it right up through the center, past the bend in the hook. All right, and then I always line the hook up, put my thumb basically at the bottom edge of the hook, so that's where I'm going to run the point of the hook through, all the way through, and then I'll simply skin hook the top. So let me see if I can get this better so you can see it. Hopefully you can see that all right. So that is, again, this is supposed to be standing up. That's the Tokyo rig with the Z-Man big TRD on the business end. And folks, let me tell you what, this thing flat catches fish when no other bait will. So yeah, there's so many different ways you can throw this thing out there too. You know, you just throw it out there and simply fish it like you would a worm or a jig, where you just hopping it off the bottom. Other times you might toss it out there and then just slowly drag it across the bottom, drag it across the shell bed, something along those lines, because this has so much action. Because again, all Z-Man products, they float, so this thing is going to be floating up, and as you drag, it's just going to be bouncing along, bouncing around, and that's going to trigger a lot of bites. Something else that I like to do if it's really slow is I'll throw it out there and I'll simply dead stick it, let it sit, maybe sometimes shake my rod tip just a little bit, and that gives that just a little bit of action. Plus the underwater currents that are going on, you know, on the bottom of the lake is also going to give that little Z-Man big TRD plenty of action, and it's definitely going to trigger some bites. So the next time that you're out on a really hot summer day, you know, those fish really aren't doing much, you're having a hard time getting bit, or if you're out on a lake that's really highly pressured, you know, just try thinking outside the box a little. Give this big TRD on a Tokyo rig a try. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, not only in the numbers of fish that you'll catch, but the size that this thing will produce as well. It's awesome. I've caught some really big bass on this thing, so give it a try. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and especially hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. If you have a comment or a question, go ahead and drop that in the comment section as well, and I'll do my very best to get back to each and every one of them. You know, let me know what you think. Let me know some of other things that you'd like to see. I'm all about trying to help people catch more fish, and so once again, I really thank you for tuning in. And until next time, put God first in your life, and I hope to see y'all in the water.